The world won't understand you. Hey, but it's okay. Said the world won't understand you. Cause I made you in my own way. Said the world won't understand you. Cause I made you.
Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to episode 89 of In a Good Way podcast. I'm actually doing this one by myself. Last night was the eclipse, and I just had this crazy experience that made me want to share, right? So, I even wrote some notes down just so I don't forget what I wanted to talk about. But yeah, and also, the 2-year anniversary just passed. I kind of celebrated it with Linda, but which was my last guest, episode 88. But yeah, no, I want to say thank you to everybody that stuck with me or anyone that's new that's joining this adventure with us, right? Everyone that's been here, on the 22nd, right? I started the podcast 3/22 of 2022, right? So a lot of twos in there. And yeah, it's been a beautiful journey, right? It's been a very beautiful journey to hit these 2 years. So, I'm really excited to see where it goes from here, right? So what I wanted to share, so I just want to say like really thank you from the bottom of my heart, right? So, but what I want to share is last night the eclipse, it hit me. I don't know, it was really interesting, something that happened, right? Something There's been a lot of changes going on. That's why I'm even like I was very cautious, like, okay, what's gonna happen with this eclipse is coming, the eclipse is coming in because leading up to it's funny that it ended like on episode 88 and this is an 8 year, and really to me that's when I started. It was more like in line with like the Mexica New Year, right? I know like there's the Chinese New Year where they go by the lunar year, everybody else goes by this Gregorian calendar, and then to like the Mexica New Year is I think it's celebrated on the 12th of March, but I try to start when I started the podcast, it was like fresh to that, a new zodiac sign kind of thing, spring, right? Spring had just started. So that's kind of what I went more in line with, right? Like even every season, right? All that stuff, right? And it's the first sign of the zodiac, right? All that stuff. So that's when I started the podcast. I didn't realize, right? It always happens after, and then I'm like, oh wow, that's so crazy. I started it. Something gave me this urge to start. I had all these signs, right? I already shared it, so I won't go into all that, right? But it was like I was led to start the podcast. Had to do with, my brother and all this stuff. I don't know the mic. Let me hold on real quick because I don't know if the mic was too far away and you could hear me. If so, then what do you call it? Yeah, I think it's close enough there. So, anyways, yeah. So going back to what happened with the eclipse, right? So last night I literally woke up when the eclipse was at its max here, right? By Los Angeles, California, whatever, right? It was the maximum, eclipse at its peak was supposed to be at 12:12, right? 12:12. So even that's interesting, right? 12:12, which adds up to 33, 33, all this stuff. So that's always significant. But I woke up at that time, ate a little snack like some walnuts because I was hungry, and then I was like, ah. But even that, right? Like it didn't affect like nothing that I then I had this crazy experience, right? It was like I was in this place and I ended up getting killed, right? And that was it. It was like I don't know if I've ever been killed in a dream, because I think when you're little, they scare you like, oh, if you or back then, right? This was before the internet. They would tell you like, oh, if you die in your dream, you die for reals or this kind of stuff, right? Um, so I got killed. I went to a place and these kids came out with guns and they just started shoot like I don't know, they started shooting, right? Um, it was like they were trying to get me to stop, and I was just like trying to take off in the car, like I ain't about to stop and get robbed or something, right? But I was in like a kind of beat up place, right? Really run down place. Uh, and then these kids came out, right? And then after, I guess I was already in spirit, and the kid goes, he's checking my wallet, and I was like, even in spirit, I was talking to him. I was like, you're stupid. Like I was trying to help. Like I was here to like help humanity and stuff, right? And he checks my wallet and pulls out my ID, and my birthday said like 1111, but it wasn't like, I think just the year was something else, right? But it was like 111, and I've been seeing that number a lot, like in this physical reality, right? And then I remember even being in spirit, and like I punched him in the nose, and like you could see he felt it, but it was like, so in the spirit, as I was floating, watching everything, I was like, I punched him in the nose, and it's like I knew, like something for some reason, it was like in this vision, it was like I was like, you're stupid, like you don't know it, and because he was a young kid, right? So it was like I felt bad for him, like I like I was like, damn, like your whole family's gonna be wiped out or something. And then I was thinking like, oh, I was like, nah, I don't want to say that, right? I don't want to say that. But then I was like, even in the spirit form, I was like, but like, if whatever, like, hey, like great spirit, like if you do want to, like, so I was like, even then I was like, cause I was just like, oh, stupid kid, like, why'd you do that, like, you know what I mean? I was just like disappointed that, like, damn, like, so I don't know if I was even in that rundown neighborhood, like trying to help or something, right? So it reminded me of like that say, like, no good deed goes unpunished, right? So I was just like, damn. So, anyways, I woke up like that. I was just like bothered. I was like, did you guys really like? Oh, but also that was an important thing. I remember thinking like, damn, I wish I had more time. Like, shoot, so it kind of did check me, because even here sometimes I'll get into where I'm like, like, I'm good, whatever. You guys want to take me, then take me. I'm good regardless, right? Either way, whether you want to take me or I stick around a little more, fine. But sometimes I do get like that. And so I remember thinking after I was killed, um, damn, I wish I had more time, like I still wasn't, I had other things that I needed to do or I could have done, that kind of thought. So that's what trimmed me out, but I woke up, I'm still in that mood. I could feel it. That's the thing is, I never know if it's like a premonition, an alternate reality, seeing something that someone else went through, So I don't know, unless there was a spirit that died that way and they came to show me what happened to them. I don't know, there's so many variables, but I felt it, right? Um, and clearly that wasn't my birthday, like the 111, but it was just that. But it actually, after, when I was like, kind of going through, because I'm still like, I really just woke up, like, I don't even know, like not that long ago. I didn't even want to get out of bed because I was all like in my boo-hoo, right? I was like, damn, but I really got killed. Like I've been even shot in a dream, and then I woke up, right? So it was weird. Like I woke up within the dream, right? Like I was shot like once, shot in the heart, and then I woke up and whatever after, right? But it seemed like everything went black, boom, I was dead, and then it took a while, and then boom, I woke up. It was like almost like that, like a scene from a movie. Oh, like 2 weeks later, boom, here I am. I wake up in the hospital. I'm like, what the hell happened? But I've never like just died, right? So that was weird, or that I could remember, right? Um, Stuff like that. So, anyways, I woke up all like all in that boohoo, and I didn't want to get up, right? And so, then the alarm. I don't know why I had the alarm on my phone for today. So I get up, and I had to get up to get my phone and turn off the alarm. So, and then I was like, let me record this. Okay, so I know I'm going all over the place. But anyways, but then it was funny because even the last podcast episode I did, after I finished it, I looked up and there was a spider web in the corner, right? I was like, when did that happen? Like every time I do an interview, and I had been doing so many lately, like I always look up. So when did this spider all of a sudden come? And it was like a huge daddy long legs, right? It was just a daddy long legs, but it was big, right? It was crazy. And then when I was gonna go like kill it or whatever, it tells me like don't kill me. And I was like, what the hell? Okay, so and I've tried to interview people that say that they talk to animals. To me, it's always been more like telepathic, or the energy, right? This relationship, like it's like, but who knows? Maybe I just didn't. But I don't know. I for some reason I heard that clearly, and I was like, all right, let me. I got something. I took it outside, and then it went on its merry way, right? It was weird. And yeah, I don't want to jump all over the place. But anyways, I was more interested with the spider web, right? Because all these things have happened recently. Like I was even drawn to my like, for the Mayans, you have this kin number, right? This galactic kin number. And I revisited mine because something reminded me of it recently. And then it talks about the galactic, like, or cobweb, or the thing, the way everything's connected, right? So that was funny because right when that happened with the dream of the eclipse, um I literally, like, that's what popped in my head, because even in that thing, it was clear that I was trying to help, right? And then here goes this dumb kid, like, shooting me. And another one came out too, so it was two of them that shot me. But the first one that was the first one to fire the shots, and then that he went to go look at my wallet, um, it was that. But anyways, even remember writing this in a song when I was like a teenager still, right? Like, even at a young age, I saw already the way the game was played, right? Maybe then I didn't have that kind of terminology for it to call it like a game, right? But the great design, right? The great design of the universe and the lessons it tries to teach us about how we're all the connection, right? Everything's connected. And it was like that. I put like, oh, this kid that got shot or something, he could have been the one to hold the cure for cancer. He could have been the one to, like, all this stuff. So that's how it is. That's how this game is on a universal level, right? And I've been shown that that's our lesson as humans. Like, we don't get why we all, like, how they say, like, when you hurt someone else, you're really hurting yourself, because we are all that connected on that level, right? It really is that deep, right? That's part of the game. The game is for us to get that as humanity, that we are all connected, like, or you know not just because I was recently told the story about a police, like someone that a police had done something and he literally killed him, but then he was revived, right? Whatever, that's another story. But that's why, let's say, you're a cop, right? And then you're not a good cop, and then you kill somebody, and for some reason, in the great design of things, that person that you just killed was someone that was going to school to be a doctor, and they were the only ones that would have been able to save your son, that then ends up dying in a hospital. That's how connected. Or, we drop bombs on other countries, right? And then one of those people that died was going to invent the cure for something that, that, right? It's always on a deep level, right? That your son or your wife or someone, um like, when I went, I've mentioned Standing Rock before. I remember there was a man up there that said, like, he used to protect, I don't know if he was like a security or private, whatever, for the oil companies, right? When they were putting the pipelines. And then until they did it by his house, and they did that thing called eminent domain, right? Where the government just puts whatever, they don't care, they don't need your permission. And I think his kid ended up getting cancer. I'm almost want to say that I'm almost sure that he died, right? So then now that became his fight to go. And he was like, I can't believe, like, I used to fight, like, I used to protect these companies, and then until it hits you, and that's the intricate design, right? Like, it's always, that's the lessons in life that we don't see. So we are, that's why in the great scheme of things, we are all connected. So if they just gave me that to, I don't know, maybe they just wanted me to, like, it wanted me to hit, because it's like, damn, like, I got killed, But then that was the whole image, right? About how. And then I remember in my spirit form, in this dream I had last night, um, you know, it was like I was telling the kid in my spirit, like, you stupid kid, like, I came to help everybody, It's almost like the story, not to put myself like as Jesus, right? But I've always felt like, unless you're blind, there's been like we never need, it's like just been the most um used example, but there's tons of people that have done similar things, right? Maybe not to that point where they talk about how badly he was beaten, but I mean, in a way, there are, right? Like, even when people are tortured, I remember seeing this thing about this guy that was tortured at, I don't know, one of these, I forgot what the Guantanamo Bay, is that what it is? And that he was tortured, that he didn't do nothing, right? He just was wrong place, wrong time. They were like, let's pick this guy up, and he was like, oh, I'm not a terrorist, I'm not nothing. And then they ended up, I don't know how many, over a decade, they had him there, like, being tortured in, I think, Guantanamo Bay. I don't know. There's a whole documentary thing on him, right? It was interesting. I remember it was heartbreaking to see that, right? To see, like, all the pain that this man endured, and then he was all happy about life after, right? That was, and that shouldn't be the focus. Like, oh, look how happy he is. Like, what an inspiration. Nah, it should be also about, like, how evil are people, right? Like, that they can do that to somebody, right? Like, I think that's, I know I'm babbling on, but that's the whole thing about this intricate design, right? Like, I've been being shown that a lot lately, right? just how everything, the internet interconnectedness, right? Even with the spider. And it was funny because then after that thing with the spider, what was it? The day before the eclipse, not yesterday, but the day before that, right? So the 23rd. The 23rd, the whole day, I was like in and out. Like I couldn't, I had to do things, but then I'd be laying in bed and I'd be like in between both worlds, right? I was talking to so many, whether it was spirits or what, there was just all these things going on. And in one of those, when I went out, and I wouldn't know how long I was like, did I just doze off for 10 minutes? Was it like, 2 minutes? Was it? Because it was the whole day, right? I was just so burned. That's why I thought, like, man, this eclipse was going to hit me even harder. I wasn't sure what was going to happen, right? But anyways, one of those experiences, I was like somewhere outside and there was dirt on the ground and I felt something on my like by my ankle and I lifted my pant leg and it was a tarantula, big old tarantula. And I knew not to be afraid of it. And I just look at it and I just like say hi to it, whatever. And then it just slowly starts crawling off my leg and it goes. And there's always this thing with the tarantula. It has a lot to do with your psychic abilities are gonna be all like on heightened alert. And it made sense with the eclipse and everything. And but I thought like even in this dream it didn't bite me or not even a dream because I wasn't asleep. I was just like, like that. And what do you call it? I thought like, okay, maybe it didn't bite me because I didn't kill its cousin or whatever when it told me like don't kill me or whatever. But I don't know. There's been a lot of that, right? Like I don't know, a lot of focus on that, right? So I feel like I'm babbling, right? But whatever. Hopefully it makes sense, right? So just that, like it really is that deep, like the game, right? Like this game, once we get it, why everyone does matter, right? Uh of course everyone has to learn their individual lessons, but see, there's that lesson in that for you, right? Like it is that the play, the cosmic play is that funny sometimes, right? Like, wow, like we see it on a smaller level sometimes, right? Like, wow, uh, let's say this just popped in my head. Let's say someone asks you for a ride, right? And you're like, nah, I got things to do, and then you go and your car breaks down, and if you would have given that person a ride, um, you know, you would have had someone to help you push the car, right? But you were just there was really no reason for you not to. You just were like, I don't want to give you a damn ride. They were going in the same direction or something, but it's just you're just like, And they're not like a stranger, just someone you knew. They're like, hey, could you give me a ride? And you're going that way, but you're like, nah. And then your car breaks down. You're like, you're there by yourself, and you're like, shit, it would have helped to have someone to help me push, right? So it's like those kind of things, right? On a small level, like everything, we shoot ourselves in the foot as humans, and one day we'll get it. Maybe we won't, right? But that's kind of like what I got out of that dream. See, and it's still like I don't know. It was just like I got all boohooed about it, right? To get killed in the dream, but I mean, whatever. Maybe it was an alternate reality, maybe something, or there was just that lesson to explain that, right? Um, you know. So I'll just end it with this funny story happened. Oh, and see, last night too, it was funny because I was watching Married with Children, so there was nothing to like I wanted to watch something funny, right? And so there was nothing to influence me. I haven't seen no action movie, no nothing to where these kids shot up some guy or nothing to influence that dream. So I think that's important to say, right? And if you had any crazy eclipse experience, let me know. I want to know what other people were experiencing, right? Because this was, I guess, the lesson for me about that, right? Like the cosmic connection and how everything does matter, right? So, yeah, I was watching Married with Children. I have been wanting to watch it because I had worked on this show and we were shooting on the stage where they had shot Married with Children, and I was like, oh, Married with Children. I took a picture. Even one of my albums, one of my favorite albums, the name I kind of got it from two things: from the play Death of a Salesman and the idea of Al Bundy, right? The way he would sell shoes and stuff. Because I don't know, I think a teacher once said like if that was like she kind of, I don't know. As a kid, I didn't know. I never saw it. When you're a kid and you're watching Married with Children, which now I'm like, damn, that was a really adult show to be watching as a kid. But nonetheless, I used to watch it, and so when you see like, I didn't really get it as a kid. Like, oh, the shoe salesman. I didn't know why that was a bad thing. It was like as a kid, you think, oh, that's just the job, right? But I remember a teacher I had once. Oh, that show. It's like the wife is all like, she's all this and that. Like I forgot what words she said to say. Like she was like kind of a, I don't know if it was like a floozy or something. Like she was trying to say like the wife was like almost like a deadbeat kind of wife, and then the husband he sells shoes, and I was like, huh, like so it was funny that that teacher put it in my head that like that was a bad thing, right? But as a kid now, I was just like, okay, this guy works. Like I don't know what's wrong with that, right? But anyways, that's what I named my album, right? It was called Death of a Shoe Salesman. That was my favorite album. Not favorite album, because after, but that was one of my favorite at that point, right? Like, so anyways, whatever. So I was happy to be shooting where they shot Married with Children. So I took a picture. I was like, oh, this is cool. Like we're filming something in the studios where Married with Children used to be filmed, right? So anyways, so this is the last thing, right? So it wasn't on that. I was working on another thing, and they were putting tattoos on me, right? And that's funny because that's one of the things, right? They put 187 because I was playing like this criminal, right? So they put 187, and the lady was like, I don't even know what that means. But right away, because that's my kin number. When I was talking about the Mayan, like that's my kin number. But obviously it means, whatever. The lady didn't know. So she's like, oh, I don't know about street stuff and all that. Why not a street? That's a police code, right? And then she was like, oh, I told her, I was like, well, that means like murder and stuff, right? It's the cop code when they're like, oh, murder, all this stuff. So 187, but that's my kin number, right? So it's actually for me, it's a spiritual thing, right? My kin number, right? And so I don't know, we get to talking, right? And I was telling her about like the podcast, and she's oh, I'm all into that, and she tells me about experience she had with a psychic when she was young, and how it's tied into her being a makeup artist, right? All this thing like from when she was a teenager, and so all this stuff, right? And so as she's talking, I start hearing this name in my head. And I'm just waiting for her to finish talking so I could tell her the name, I'm like, okay, all right, I gotta say it. Because they kept repeating his name. And before I could get a chance, she calls out that name that I was hearing in my head to the other makeup lady. And I was like, wait, wait, wait. I was like, whose name is that? And then she's like, I was like, I didn't tell you, like, I have those gifts too, right? Like about because when she was all sharing her psychic story, I was like, oh, um, I have those gifts too. And I kept hearing that name. I just didn't, and I was like, oh, you want to know what's even crazier? Oh, and I think because that, yeah, the makeup artist, like, I think their mom had just passed away, right? Not I think their mom had just passed away. So they said how they were having a hard time. I don't know if it was on their way to work and they had like a full on, like, I don't know, it was like a breakdown or it just hit them, boom, right? And that's how it happens, right? Like when you lose someone, it just hits you at the craziest time, right? And so, what do you call it? Yeah. So, anyways, I was like, you want to know what's even crazier? I was supposed to go on one freeway, and the thing rerouted me to go. And I remember specifically, even right, because this always happens when I'm on the right track. I remember looking up at this address of this thing. It's at 777, which means like it always is like you're exactly where you're supposed to be, basically. That's one of the big things for me, like the numbers, right? But 77 is always like sometimes I'll be like, man, and then boom, 777 before I could even say something. I remembered another funny thing, right? And I'll end it after that. But anyway, so I got rerouted, and out of all things, I got off on a street that I've never got off on, and it was the name of that makeup artist too. So I was hearing her name, and then it all went back to remembering that it even rerouted me to get off on the street that had the same name as her, and I was like, dude, you got to be kidding me. So then she felt comfort, I guess, like it was clear it was most likely her mom, right? Like that was trying to come through. And I told her, like, and she said thank you. Like she said she believes in everything. So she was like, and I told her if anything else comes through, you want me to tell you? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. But there was really never a time. It was like, we were when we were filming stuff or just if I was around people all the time, there was really never a moment of silence, right? To really tap in. But at the end, to get the tattoos off, because if not, they got the makeup stuff, whatever, the chemicals or whatever. So out of all people, I got her, right? Because in the morning I didn't have her. I had some other makeup lady. And then after, so I had her. And when I sit back in the chair and I don't know, she's telling me something, I guess, still about what had happened in the morning. And then, so as she's rubbing my head to take off this tattoo that they had put right here, um, I guess I relaxed enough to start hearing, hearing the message the mom was saying, and then I told her, and then whatever, and then whatever, I gave her a hug and all this stuff, and it was good, right? I even felt like the whole reason I went to work that day was just to be a part of that, right? To deliver that message. And I was grateful. That meant more to me than, even that, right? Being on set and all this stuff like that. That was it was priceless to me. Again, back to the interconnectedness of everything, the way the play works, right? Like here I am driving, getting off this exit, everything, the way it all just from a hawk's eye view, right? Or whatever, eagle's eye view, hawk's eye view, right? The way the play worked, right? And I even felt after I was like, man, like why didn't I get more messages? Why was that it? But I know that there was really never time to like focus in, right? And maybe that's all that she needed to hear. And it looked like she got like she got it, right? Whatever the message was that I wanted to bring through, like she got it, right? So it seemed like that was the purpose, right? But just for me, I was like, man, I wish I would have got more. But I'm starting to see that that's how it works. Sometimes it's not about this whole like, hey, this whole speech and stuff, right? It's just about like, boom, boom. There's a message that needs to be delivered, and that message is enough, right? And maybe sometimes it's on the person receiving the message to make sense of it. Because I've noticed that sometimes people are stubborn. You're delivering a message and they're stubborn, Like a lot of times, like they're coming through because they want you to be good on this side. And then people, oh, well, we didn't get along good, or we didn't this, or we didn't that. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to tell you, like, they're trying to help, like, for you to, like, give you that closure so you can live out happy. Like, they're rooting for you, but like they get it. Now that they won, they get it. Like, yeah, I know sucks that sometimes we don't make amends on this side, but the spirits they do that, right? Oh, there was another story I wanted to share real quick. Um oh yeah, just that yesterday, right? I don't know why I got in my head. I was driving. I had to go out right to because even that was something I had to face. So okay, let me just and I'll end it with this. Leading up to the clips, I kept seeing 555 everywhere. And even yesterday, right, as I was driving, 555, 555, 111. That's why it was funny that it came into my dream, because it was like, there's these new beginnings coming. I've been seeing tons of 222s, 555s, and 111s. 222s is obviously about cooperating, working with people, right? And yeah, even that right before, in the beginning of this year, meaning January, February, I released some music and it was all with people, right? So I did 3 songs and each song was with someone else, right? So, cooperation, working with people, even doing the podcast, right? I started doing a bunch of episodes. Uh, the most I've done within the shortest amount of time, right? And it was, obviously with somebody, right? And then after that, so yeah, I've been seeing a lot of that, right? Like that kind of stuff, right? And the 555s, right? A ton of them. So even yesterday, I had to go because one of the things I had to do, for some reason, there was some kind of blockage where for the acting, right? I signed with like an agency, and I couldn't, like, it took me a while. Like they had already sent me everything. I couldn't make myself sign it, and I was like, what is? But I knew they were telling me everything was good, but spiritually, right? But I just was like having trouble, and it's like that. Like when you move forward, you do have to get out of your comfort zone with stuff. There's so many things that we have to do as humans in this great scheme of things to get ahead with things that we want to do. There's always going to be challenges because that's just how the game works. Imagine if it was just what a boring game, right? So the way you set up your design or the way it's designed, um, is always going to be certain challenges, right? And that's why even on the day the anniversary of the podcast, I went to climb the mountain to to start off like that, right? I always have to do something where it's like where you push yourself, because then when you do it physically, it helps you too spiritually, and if you can't do that, it's like just find something you're uncomfortable doing that you've been wanting to do. And you know like some people, they say people are more uh people are more afraid of public speaking than they are of death. So that was mind blowing. I remember I took a speech class because it was one of the prerequisites or something in college, or the requirements for whatever, to get the associates or something when I was in. And then they said that people are more terrified of public speaking than they are of death. So even that, if you got to do some public speaking or post a video or something, right? So anyways, where the hell was I going with that? I knew I was gonna lose my train of thought at some point. But so yeah. Anyways, oh yeah. The signing the contract, right? So I went they had a meet and greet things with all the talent yesterday, right, for the agency. And I was leaving, I don't know what I got in my head about. And I was like, damn. And then right when I said like, damn, something like this huge lightning hit. I was like, what? I was like, all right, fine. Like, no damn. Like I'm good, right? Like, I don't know why I said that, but I don't know. I just got in my head about something. Like, I don't even know what. I was like, shoot. And then I was close to the ocean, so I went, I was like, I don't know, just like 2 miles away from the ocean. So I went real quick. And I went all and the wind was insane, right? It was just beautiful. The waves, it was a pier, and then the waves were just insane, right? And there was only like, everyone was walking away, and there was only one guy at the end of the pier, and I went, and it was just amazing, right? Like you could smell the ocean, like the ocean air. It was just the most beautiful thing. But then the police comes after, I don't know, I was probably there like 15, 20 minutes, and then the police comes and they're like, hey, we're clearing everything because that lightning, um, the lightning, I guess it had hit right there, right? I didn't know because it just seemed so huge. I guess it hit right there close to so they were evacuating the whole beach for everyone's safety, right? So I was like, wow, this is amazing. But I don't know but just the fact of the timing of the lightning, right when I like, as soon as I said like, I was like, oh man, I was like, what the hell? But it was that big. I guess that's my point. It was that big that they even evacuated the whole ocean, right? So it's just the timing. Sometimes when the thing is about the timing, it's like I feel very like on path, right? But there's obviously new beginnings, right? That's what I guess I don't even feel like bracing myself now because it's like whatever. It is what it is, right? Like I saw a lot of people were afraid of this eclipse coming on 8/8, like, but I don't know. There's really nothing to be afraid of because with every ending comes a new beginning. That's the last thing I'll leave it with. Every ending brings a new beginning. And I guess just that, remember the interconnectedness of things. Like we are all that connected, right? And that's, if anything, that's what I got. Like, yeah, it left me feeling all boohoo that I got killed in this freaking dream. But I even punched the kid. Even Spirit in me punched the kid in the nose, and I seen him go like that. So it was funny, right? And I was just like, oh man, you stupid. Like, what did you just do? I don't know. It was funny. Let me know if you guys had any crazy experiences. Again, thank you for being with me this long, right? 2-year anniversary. I'm really excited to see what this third year brings, right? I took a little time off just to not schedule nothing, but I'm gonna start scheduling some more interviews, maybe more lives, right? If anyone wants to do lives, by all means, reach out to me. And I think that's it. All right, so let's make this year a good one, and let's see if we can, change the world for the better, right? All that good stuff. Because I feel like that was one of the things in the dream too. Like, oh man, I was trying to help and all that stuff, right? So I guess maybe just don't go to any sketchy neighborhoods for me, right? Like I'm just thinking like, it was just weird, but yeah. Okay. Hope you guys are all well. Did I leave anything out? Let me look real quick and then I'll end it because I know oh shoot, I thought I left some notes somewhere. Jeez. All right. I don't know. I left notes somewhere, but I don't see them. So I'll end it with that. All right. Peace and thank you. Peace.
Life may move fast, or it may move slow. I met a silly man who said he make it slow. We look up out towards space, or even at the sky. One day pass away, but never look inside. Breathe in, breathe out. Life is a maze, but we'll figure this out. I mean, human beings, I ain't got no doubt.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sometimes you just feeling it, you know what I'm saying? You just feeling it. And I wanna feel this way forever.